bourgeoisie anytime you're living here. In this country, you gotta be a skullduggery, making your money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for a little piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because due to capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility. In this country, so many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day. In this country, avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them a open license to steal. Would you believe me? One nylon panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60, $200 and change a yard for silk. It's hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette, just leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get. In this country, necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is, they're charging anything they please. In this country,
a pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon?
Robbery, the price of
I want to start by saying good evening to the persons in the diaspora, right? Usually I say good evening to the persons in Grenada, Carriacou, PD, Martinique.
Just imagine.
But to the persons out there in the diaspora, New York City,
not even dying today.
London, wherever else you're listening from, good evening to you guys.
So you could get a spot.
And then a special good evening to my locals.
Oh Lord, capital.
Grenada, Carriacou, PD, Martinique is Grenada all the way and every time.
This that once we had is gone.
Good evening to you. To the persons on my Facebook page, good evening to you. 25 viewers. No share. I mean, everybody getting detention this evening. Good evening to the persons on my Facebook page.
You got to have heavy contact.
I know I started a little bit late this evening
to make any kind of impact,
but I'm here.
In this country, you got to know how to chip the feel.
Tag somebody.
Swindle properly. Perfect the
share the live right now. Let them know
I say so.
That class is in session.
This land isn't easy for no man.
Shirley Lacrette, good evening to you, my dear friend. Always hooked on. All the way out there in London. Good evening to you. I'm a little disappointment this evening. Eh? Barcelona lost. Oh.
Fish meat and poultry. Time you buy greens, all your money done. It hard hearing.
To my special students over on my YouTube page. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening.
It's sad and getting over. Lord, capitalism gone mad.
Listen to me, the views on YouTube. It's already at 65. Facebook students. You all are getting on rather lackadaisical, right? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this was the voice of our dear Grenadian brother, Slinger Francisco, the Calypso King of the world. I hope everybody is having themselves a wonderful, wonderful evening. I know it is Wednesday. I know some of you all may want to interact this evening. And so I must set everything right so that you guys can hear me today. And the fact is, we do have some information to share as per usual. I am speaking to you guys, but I did not get the online part of it ready for you guys. So let me just set that up so that if you guys would wanting to call in today or send me a message, then you all would be able to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is another day of conversation, another day where we'll be able to interact as it relates to our political issues that are hitting home here in Grenada. And so we get immediately down to it. And today is one of the days I don't want to stick, right? I don't want to stick so that you all would get the opportunity to share. Now, the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage in our country's political environment, we are seeing that anything goes. That is how I have to put it. Information reaching the class in session program today. Let me see this. That our Foreign Affairs Minister, Brother Joseph Andal, has confirmed that Sylvester Quallis, who is the current chairman of the National Democratic Congress and formerly served as Environmental and Social Development Minister during the 2008 to 2013 NDC administration, will be Grenada's new High Commissioner to Canada. Those are you guys down in the back heard what I said? If you guys didn't hear me, please lift your hands. Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Anders has confirmed that Sylvester Quallis, who is the current chairman of the National Democratic Congress and formerly served as the minister responsible for environment and social development during the 2008-2013 NDC administration, will be the Grenada new High Commission to Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, it does not get any more comical than this. Somebody said it's Tuesday. Oh, my apologies, it's Tuesday. Yes. Why rush in the week? As I was saying, it does not get any more comical than this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to reflect on this administration's mandate to have had young people involved or more involved in entities like this. Sylvester Quallis, an old guard. Sylvester Quallis, a servant to the state, as merely equal as the Dr. Mitchell you all wanted to get rid of. would have elected out of office, Sylvester Quallis, a well-known, knowledgeable individual within the state whose businesses continues to crumble. He is now our reflection as to state to Canada. I don't know what process the National Democratic Congress uses to make the judgment, but oh gosh, he had to bad so. An administration, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're going to touch on the transformation conversation. You realize that the transformation conversation has gotten very low. Remember, everything before was transformation and the attempt to transform everything. When last have you heard the boldness as it relates to transformation? Because I want to play a clip, and I believe after that deliberation, that is when we heard less as it relates to transformation. Because I think in the House of Parliament, Sister Emmeline Pear would have brought to light the true meaning of transformation. And hence the reason why, since after she deliberated, you stop hearing about transformation. So let's listen to that clip there by our dear sister.
Transformation. We are speaking about seriously impacting extreme and radical change, Mr. Speaker. That's what transformation is. And so we ought not to confuse everything that we do with transformation. And we use the word so loosely. So, Mr. Speaker, when we speak about a name change of a project, that's not transformation. That doesn't make the project transformational. When I think of transformation, Mr. Speaker, my mind goes back to the rural electrification program. My mind goes back to connection of pipe-borne water to rural communities, the construction of a cruise ship terminus, the construction of the western and eastern main road, connection of high-speed internet to schools, Mr. Speaker, liberalization of the telecommunications sector, introduction of payment for government services online is not the first time, Mr. Speaker. Providing devices to students and principals and teachers during a pandemic, Mr. Speaker. Introduction of e-books during a pandemic, Mr. Speaker. My mind keeps going back on transformation. When I think of transformation, I think about thousands of scholarships to students from rural communities, changing their lives, changing the lives of their families, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I even think about the introduction of the bathroom and toilet program. Call it whatever you want, wash, whatever it is, Mr. Speaker, transformation. But you know what's significant? Mr. Speaker, all of those initiatives that I reference, Mr. Speaker, they were implemented during the last 30 years under the leadership of the new National Party government. Mr. Speaker, and many of them, Mr. Speaker, if you research, you go back, you would realize that while some of these things were happening, Grenada experienced 2 major hurricanes. Mr. Speaker, Grenada experienced a recession, world recession, Mr. Speaker, and then a global pandemic. The performance of the new National Party government must be mentioned whenever the word transformation is mentioned, Mr. Speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it does not get better than this. Ladies and gentlemen, know that you hear it for yourself. Now tell me, how can you therefore compare and contrast an administration who stood on the word transformation and transforming Grenada and the things that Ms. Pear would have just mentioned, or you heard that she mentioned? Tell me, within the past few days that they have been in office, today being the 664th day, Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, what in Grenada, in what was just labeled, can be termed transformed? Tell me, what can this administration sit on and be the trust that, hey, this is what we have transformed? What have they transformed? What are they going to come with? Pension project? The pension conversation? The dog payment? The drones? The raising salary? What is it that they're going to come with now? This administration, ladies and gentlemen, and their supporters are laughable. You are serving or giving praise to an administration who has done absolutely nothing to lift your nose. Imagine on their very own programs, and I'm saying this, that even if the NNP was in office now, we as supporters would have been able to still point out things in which we can say our party did this. This administration have not implemented anything in which we as a people can give praise to this administration. According to our people, is that bad? As somebody human, that one day we may have to go and meet the Prime Minister in heaven, because he's always in the sky. People, if we continue to pounce on the things that we would have done, take any one of our 664 days in the 22 years we would have reigned. Take any 664 days and compare and contrast this administration's 664 days and the amount of things that you would have seen that would have happened within NNP, sometimes just 300 days. Is it a better accomplishment than this administration's accomplishment in 664 days? It is laughable, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, what you're seeing is more work given to their friends, more work given to retirees. And you know, I remembered one of the conversation and the deliberation of the Prime Minister is his conversation of succession plan. I remember him referring to the RGPF and the RGPF not having a succession plan. And how many entities in Grenada, I don't know how many of you all follow him much, you know, but how many entities in Grenada where he is not seeing a succession plan. Go right now, ladies and gentlemen. Check certain boards before and see if the persons that are on the boards now are not elder than the persons who were there before. Or if some of the boards don't have more retirees than anybody else. Check it yourself. Go and check those boards and check the different entities in where persons are now given opportunities and see whether or not is there a proper succession plan. Look at the RGPF. Look at the RGPF, for example. Young Commissioner of Police. You don't feeling well. Tender resignation. You take out a man in the house. 2 officers. Retired officers. You put them on the foot. You go on all them different boards, and when you see persons with papers in hand, you saying to yourself, I know that person since I was a little boy. Because the succession plan was, at the end of the day, I shouldn't even say a succession plan. NDC never had a plan. Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, you can never say to me, straight face, that this is an administration that knew that when they won the election, or if they won the election, what was going to happen next. When you look at the different boards, look at it. Only sometime earlier on this year, there was an exclusive published document that past Commissioner of Police Thompson is in charge of some board. A board that was formed since July of last year. The Gazette publishing just happened this year. And you're telling me this is an administration that knew what they were about? Sylvester Qualis? Commission to Canada? I mean, come on. Come on. I am not against, at any given time, the opportunity to work. But I think some of these opportunities can be given to qualify young people. You have elderly heads on board, more than one board. If you go and check the amount of boards, some of them they are like Nail, Jack Plain. They're on one board here and one board over there and one board over there. And many of them still hold a position within the National Democratic Congress. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. That some of these persons that are sitting on those different boards are stalwarts, henchmen and women within the National Democratic Congress, still holding positions. Not foot soldiers, you know. Not floor members, you know. High position. Secretary, chairman, public relation officer. And they're holding esteemed positions on different boards within the state. Does that not pick some form of conflict of interest? Ladies and gentlemen, this administration cares less as it relates to what you all think. Somebody saying, Miss Simon read out 45 retirees within the government. 45 retirees. 45 retirees. But on all your program, all you want to know when is convention, because Kid Mitchell is too old to still be in politics. Let you go home. But all you taking out people on the wheelchair, on the rocking chair, in the home or in the home, and bring them. Many advisors, all ministry of advisors, 1, 2, 3 advisors in different ministries, just collecting monies for doing what? For doing what? That is the question. Ask what is some of them specifically, what are you doing within some of these ministries? Who are you advising? What are you advising? A set of people just get in position. Everybody getting a blind. Everybody getting a work here, there, and everywhere. Some don't even know what work they have to do. Some people don't even know their responsibilities. We have Senator Jonathan Lacrette making it public that he would continue to serve the people of Northwest. If I wasn't on that program, I would say what I would say it in a different kind of way. But what do you do that by? Were you elected by the people of St. George's Northwest to serve them? When were you elected the servant or the persons selected you or elected you to serve them? Where you get at speed, you would continue to serve the people of St. George's Northwest. With what? Your appointment came from your prime minister. Your appointment came from your prime minister. The only person in which you can grant service to is the person who put you there. And one man that made a decision. The people of Northwest did not. But how you ashamed so? You gave yourself up as a servant to be selected. The people rejected you. They said, listen to me, we don't want you there. But you go in and say you're going to serve the people of Northwest. With what? As a senator? Your responsibility is to the parliament. You're integrated within a ministry. And that is all where it lies. But service to the people of your constituency, they didn't want you. You're ashamed. They don't want you there. When they got the opportunity and they look for the name within the constituency on election day, they say no. They said no, not Jonathan Lacrette. Keith Claudius Mitchell, that's what we vote for. That's who they voted for, not you. They don't want you there. And the Prime Minister, realizing that they rejected you, said to you, listen to me, look at your position. Look at work. Look at job. So what you talking about? You have to solve the people. Where your service come on? You better go back to church and have service there. You better go back to church and hold your service there. Because the people within the area in which you gave yourself up, they say come again. Come again. Somebody's asking a question. I'm seeing a question being asked, Sanderson, or let us add up the 22 months and see if we can get a month with all those days. I think they might have had a previous comment. Good evening. After 22 months in office, can you tell me if the Prime Minister has ever spent a month in Grenada without going away? So this is a simple question to ask. The Prime Minister lives in the cloud. The Prime Minister is a bird. The Prime Minister is a bird, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a simple understanding that this administration's mental capacity is focused on giving a friend a little bly. And I'm sorry for our young people. I'm very, very sorry for our young people. And I think Sister Kate, in one of the deliberations, and let me get that clipping for you, when she spoke on it, she gave us some enlightenment on it in one of the meetings that was held as it relates to the Imani project. So let me get that clipping for you so that you could take a listen. All right, let me get it there. Go on, Sister Kate.
When we last were in office in 2022,
listen that.
The new Imani program was up to batch 8. It's been almost 2 years. Not one new batch these people brought in. So what is happening to our young people today? What is happening? They are on the streets. They are in the gambling house. They are hopeless. Because this current administration does not care about them. But I want to say, young people, the new National Party will be back to rescue you. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Hold strong. Hold the fort. Because the NMP will be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, information that you cannot run from. That is not propaganda conversation. That is not ridiculing an individual and calling them names because you don't like the administration. It's facts. 8 batches up until 2022. We are in 2024. An administration that mentioned to the young people of Grenada that they are going to be there for them. The Empower program that have been copied by many of the Caribbean countries now. Parliamentary representatives are being called from the opposition side to go and hold seminars outside of Grenada. The past administration who viewed young people as the most important entity within the state. A present administration continues to treat them as if they're not even part of Grenada. The Imani project, 8 batches. before 2022. We are about to hit year 2 and not one batch. Not one batch. Sometimes you're passing. I used to be passing by the stadium when I lived in the River Road area. And ever so often you see there is a crowd in the stadium. And when you ask whether or not it is Tam Sisi graduation, person used to say, no, Imani that graduated there. Sometimes twice in the year, Imani graduation. Sometimes twice in a year, Imani signing up for program. When they realize that program got too big, they brought the Empower program. That one get too big, they bring the Fly program. Initiatives to ensure that our young people stayed away from all violent practices and they got themselves occupied. This administration, yet to do anything of substance for our young people. Not a project, not a program to develop an aid in their well-being. Not one. Not one. Because when you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, all this administration is bank on is continuing to see how best they can come up with a new propaganda and come up with something new and a new redirection to make NNP look bad. They are so focused on mischievous practices that to run the state is not for them. Because whenever they go on a new project, it's because they want to go and ridicule NNP. They want to continue. Government is continuum. But whenever they go for a new project and they go to do something new, oh, they're telling you, oh, well, we changed that and we put that different and we add that. The fundings are there. The fundings are there. But because they change it and they put in something new, even if they change a lock, they're telling you, oh, we upgrade the program, or we upgrade the project, or we upgrade everything. They upgrade. They're changing letters. Bathroom and toilet program, they put in wash. Big project now. Change letters, you know. The program is structured the same. All the changes in name. And it's a big project now. Dr. Mitchell stand at the Trade Center, spoke on pension and pension reform, spoke on the importance of understanding that whether or not you pay pension today or tomorrow, 20, 15 years down the road, it may affect an economy. Them who feel they're bright, they stood and they tell us during the campaign, don't worry, Dr. Mitchell, he just don't want to pay the pension. Don't worry, Dr. Mitchell, he don't like poor people. And Dr. Mitchell explained in length, did a whole press conference at the Trade Center, breaking down and making persons understand that retroactive pension payment, pension programs, and pension reform is on a whole different scale. Yes, you're going to pay the persons who government owes. But remember, this is continuum. Government is expected to come up with that money yearly to continue to pay these people. And remember, it's a money that government will have to find. It's not like NIS where you pay your NIS every month. Pension payment is a payment in which government is expected to do it on their own accord, on their own financial findings. Dr. Mitchell stood in the Trade Center and he spoke well. And the Balo, he lied. When he gave the number, they tried to break it down to much less. When they go in office, they say, this is the amount that has to be paid. Manipulating the Grenadian people, not explaining what is pension retroactive payment as opposed to what is pension reform. Did not explain to the people that, okay, yes, this is people you owe. How money they have to get. And so they're going to pay them one-off payment. But remember, these people have to continue getting that money every month. Ask them what is the process as it relates to this program right now. And when they get the opportunity to talk about it in the House of Parliament, this is what they explain to Grenadians.
Of contract work and how unfair raise the issue of contract work and how unfair contract work is, whether it's taking place in the public sector or the private sector, and the need to regularize as much as we can
Listen
contract
them.
workers. But
After
let's
they
be
won.
straight. We got to be straight with the nation.
Oh, they're already straight.
Contract work and pension reform must go together. Because we commit to pay the retroactive pension, and we are doing so. We understand the import.
And I want to pause this, because at this stage, and with this deliberations being made, you understand the hypocrisy that the stunt that these people was pulling on Grenadians. When Dr. Mitchell mentioned those same kind of words in the Trade Center, they were the ones who took it to all kind of social media and said Dr. Mitchell lie. They are the same ones when Dr. Mitchell asked all unions to come on board. So let's discuss pension and pension reform. They said Dr. Mitchell know how to do that. The order from the court is what you need to pay attention to. And they won the election, and here, regurgitating all what he said.
Of the ruling of the court. But so as not to do severe damage, perhaps even irreparable damage to our economy in the long run, we must work out a pension plan going forward that's sustainable. Because as it stands now, when people retire, they are entitled to NIS, that's public servants I mean.
And I'm pausing it again, because all those things were mentioned by Dr. Mitchell. All those things was brought to light. All those things that it relates to how much money they have to get, and what they have to get, and when you retire. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and let me break that down for you who does not understand. Pension retroactive payment is a one-off payment. The court gave that order. So the state was expected to make that payment. And Dr. Mitchell said, my administration, I have no problem in paying it. But however, a plan must be put in place. You hear she saying the same thing? The same set of them that said, Dr. Mitchell lie, the money is there, let it pay it.
They're entitled to NIS plus government pension. And government pension is a non-contributory pension, which means the government alone pays everything into the pension fund. Plus,
what I was saying,
under the NIS law, the government pays 6%
right,
into the NIS, into the National Insurance Fund. So, going forward, that will be a really hefty sum. That
when Dr. Mitchell called the $400 and something million, and they say lie, and they say like, ladies and gentlemen, ever so often within the state, people retires, and the National Democratic Congress need to understand that once you start paying one person, or you would have paid that retroactive, all these people plus persons that would be coming on that list monthly or yearly must be paid. And here's the reason why Dr. Mitchell's administration spoke as it relates to a pension payment plan. So we're not saying that they would not get it, but it was to be paid in a way that you don't call it that lump sum at one time. You're getting your payment piece, but however, you would still be able to continue to get your monthly pension contribution. Remember, as I said earlier on, this is an area that government does not receive a contribution to pay you. Government is expected to finance that by themselves. Government doesn't get a monthly contribution to make that payment possible. So at the end of the day, remember, 5-6 years down the road, persons would have to get a pension once retired. Go on, explain more.
The IMF and everybody else have already warned it's not sustainable going forward as it is.
Okay.
Plus, if we regularize contract workers across the board without at the same time treating with pension reform, what do? We bloat forward as
Listen
it
that
is.
again.
Plus, if we regularize contract workers across the board without at the same time treating with pension reform,
An administration that said to you guys that contract workers was illegal, and that when they get into office, one of the things on the front burner would have been what? Regularization and taking persons of contract work. Listen to it yourself. And it'll take like a while before I regurgitate information, because sometimes I don't want to just leave you guys' mind that they did say that and they didn't say that. This is after they won the election. She's speaking in the House of Senate. Alright? This is after. And that's a very salient point. They forget. To them, NP never paid pension. But if you go back to your history, and maybe I may have the number wrong, sorry. But I think about $104 million was paid, pension payment was paid. And I'm subjected to correction, but I'll get the documentation and try to confirm. But if my maths is right, I think about $104 million or so was paid after the matter was won. But let me confirm. Go on, Sister Claudette.
what do? We bloat the public service. We expand the public service, and in so doing, the amount of people who would be eligible for pension. So we call on our friends in the labor movement to sit with us and work out. And
After Dr. Mitchell's administration would have asked the same question, would have said the same thing, calling on the different labor movements and entities to come on board. Let's work this out. Here today. Here.
acceptable mode going forward, where everyone will be happy, where we will not leave an unbearable financial burden for those who come after us, and where those who retire going forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC for you. They didn't mind lying their way into office. They didn't mind manipulating their way into office. Because at the end of the day, all they were focused on is what? The power. And to get rid of Dr. Mitchell. But let me give you an exclusive piece or an answer to what she just said. Listen this.
They promise everybody pension, they pay up a backlog, and they can't go forward. For people to come to get a new pension plan, which we had already negotiated with you.
So, you feel this media does lie? I doesn't lie about these things. Ladies and gentlemen, all that was done. And let me say that. And I'm touching on the conversation of transformation today. And I know one of the biggest accomplishments to them is pension payment. To them, that is the transformation engine. That is the embryo of the transformation conversation. But I want to break it down to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that these people are blatantly lying. They blatantly lied to the Grenadian people, knowing of all the information that they know. What is the findings on the oil and gas conversation? Where is that board? Who is financing that board? What is their findings? The board that is to research the oil and gas, that is headed by Brother Nazim Bok. I tell you, these people are liars. And anything to distract persons is what they would get. When they realize that they're failing, they come with something new. They would dig as far as they can dig. And you see, Grenadians are getting so accustomed with it that they're getting fed up of it. Grenadians are starting to understand and see that these people are a waste of time. You made the Grenadian people believe that the pension conversation that was held by Dr. Mitchell was a blatant lie. He lied. Dr. Mitchell could lie too much. 400 and something million, he lied. You all come and break it down to I think about 235. The numbers are just being in my head. And Dr. Mitchell, when I see numbers, he just turn me on. You made the Grenadian people believe that Dr. Mitchell's administration did not want to pay pension. A waste of time. But listen to the information being regurgitated. Union plan, NNP had it down. The vision to understand that it is going to cause some problem in the future, NNP had it down pack. Because Dr. Mitchell and all mentioned it. And I want to break down that presentation. I want to break down that presentation from Dr. Mitchell in the Trade Center and put it close to all the things that Claudette said there. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this administration is not a transformation. And let me stop using transformation. It is manipulation. That is a new word for them. A set of manipulation. Imagine today on Facebook. Listen to the heading on Facebook. The Grenada Cabinet of Ministers is presently conducting an official visit to Monge Hospital in St. George's. During this visit, they are engaging with key nurses, medical and administrative staff. This is an administration that understands and knows persons tasked with ministerial roles, but the cabinet have to have a meeting within your ministry. Tell number 10, by the time they're done making her look dotish, she would be so far gone, humiliated, that nothing in Grenada that comes with her name would be recognized. The most experienced minister within the government have to have the cabinet come into one of your institutions and have a meeting to meet key nurses and medical and administrative staff. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something what happens. You're in charge. You're the boss. The boss has to get an assessment on his or her desk as it relates to what is going on there. The boss don't need to come down there. If there's an administrative staff there, documentation need to come to the government as it relates to those problems that they're being faced with. The cabinet don't have to go there. That is dotishness. The entire cabinet don't need to sit at the Monge institution to assess or to find out what the problem or what the problems might be at that institution. That is dotishness. Because if there is a minister responsible for an institution, the expectation is that you grab the bull by the horn and take control of the ministry and the institution in which your ministry falls under. That there is dotishness. That is laughable. That is incompetence. It is making the minister responsible look bad. That the cabinet have to come and ensure that everything is okay at the institution in which you are in control of. How is it that they never had a meeting in any other ministry? Number 10, check yourself. Number 10, check yourself. You're a senior politician. You are the most senior politician and experienced politician. You are being ridiculed. You are being embarrassed. According to them big women like you. And what you people that are sitting there? The front row seat, the two persons sitting in the front row seat don't have more than 5 subjects. The two persons to the right, the picture that I'm looking at, Tevin and Ron, among them alone, you can get 5 subjects. Then you have a senator, then you have Brother Cornwall, and then you have Claudette. The 5 persons in the front row, if you put all of their political service together, they can get yours. They cannot get yours. The 5 persons sitting in the front row, put their political services together as to how much and how long they have served within the state, and put yours together. What they come in and tell you? What they could tell you? What example can they give you or show you? But they come within a ministry in which you're in charge of to meet with key nurses, medical and administrative staff. Papi show. They are humiliating you. 5 of them in front. Check them out. Put 5 of them service together. Tevin is some days old. Ron is some weeks old. The senator, she wasn't elected. Brother Cornwall, Sister Claudette, she's not elected. Right? And Ron is there. Ron is part of the cabinet. Ron is part of the cabinet. Somebody asked if he was studying again. He's studying online, I tell you. Guy studying online, leave him. He's like a clothespin. Online he studied. You can't say to me that these people, look at the delegation of people. The whole cabinet. The whole cabinet. The whole cabinet. The whole cabinet have to go and rectify those issues. If there are issues at the Monge Hospital, the whole cabinet have to go there. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration need a wake-up call. And I'm in the process thereof of going through their manifesto. And I think next week I want to take my time and go through it. The promises made within there. The things that have been said within there. And we're going to break it down nicely. Slowly but surely. This administration does not know what they're about. And it is not a joke. You are not getting simple governance correct. Simple understanding, simple protocol. You're not implementing nothing new. You are not implementing nothing new. You're not putting your name on nothing. Instead, you're castigating everything. From the time they say sod turning, and we say, well, that project, they jump on Facebook, they criticize it, they say, well, government is continuum, and government is expected to. So if government is continuum, and you all are finishing all the projects, then what are you leaving for people to do? So the next administration, when an NP come back, well, I could tell Alusa to put some plans together. We would have to start to put some plans together. Because we would have to start putting new things together. Because they won't leave nothing for us to do it. They would not leave anything for us to do. You see, when I tell you of inexperience and understanding, and sometimes we need to understand the political game. We need to understand the political game. And one elder was mentioning to me, and he said to me, he said, listen to me. He said, in the reign of Eric Machugeri, whenever Eric go in office, the treasury never have money yet. He could have, he don't have, he don't have. And it was a political strategy to ensure that his reflection as a politician remains. You could call it ratchet fee, you could call it old trick. But you see, if he says he don't have, but thereafter, you seen people on the estate, you hearing work being done here, that billing day, that billing day. How does it reflect at Uncle Gary? That making him look good? Because remember, there's a man that say, he no money there. So, seeing him doing things now, people are wow. What? Uncle Gary say you don't have no money in the treasury and all this work is being done? His reflection or the viewing that you may have is that Uncle Gary walking. But a young, immature politician takes governance, becomes prime minister, stands in the House of Parliament, and he meets a pregnant treasury. Lots of money inside it. So when nothing is being done, what you feel persons are going to touch on? A bright lawyer, bright counsel, bright administration, young and vibrant and well educated. What do you think the people are holding you all at your throat now? Because you all stated that there is monies there. You all said that Kid Michelin hold on you on the throat and tell people that, you know. But you see, the lack, the incompetence, the minimal understanding of politics. How we go do? Is we that vote them in? We that had them there. So we have to deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is within the state of Grenada, Carriacou, Martinique. We have an administration in which we know that their role and function is expectation is to give governance to the state. But they have really been lacking a lot. And when we say a lot. And we want to continue to stay steadfast as supporters of the new National Party and understand that our time soon comes. The St. Andrew Southeast Youth Arm on June 1st, they do Bougie Cocktail Edition, $10 for the dance only, $35 for complimentary eats and champagne. Cocktail is from 7, the dance starts at 10. You have music from selector Winsy and DJ Red. Dress code formal, black and gold. It will be held at Fort View in Mount Carmel in St. Andrews. So go be a part of this one, all right? The NNP Women's Arm of St. John's and Mr. Dabrio invites you to a luncheon for senior citizens tomorrow, right, at the Old RC School, Fish Friday Street at 12 p.m. All right, all seniors are invited. Come and enjoy. You have lots of games and so on. So go enjoy this one, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, again, it was a pleasure being here with you guys. Another wonderful evening with you guys. Another wonderful time to be able to have a conversation with you guys that relate to political issues. We are going to be back here again tomorrow for another event or conversation. And tomorrow we want to get a little bit interactive. I was corrected today. Somebody was definitely listening to what I was saying. So they corrected me. So we are going to be back here again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, God's willing. And we pray that when we're here tomorrow, we be able to interact and converse more as it relates to conversations that we would have had maybe during the week or weeks that past, and we would be recapping on certain things, talking and conversing, right? Do have yourself a wonderful day. God's blessings to each and every one of you. And my name is Royalty James for another wonderful evening. God's blessings to each and every one of you. Be safe, and we will see you again.
Get ready to shake off the winter blues and embrace the vibrant flavors of spring at the NNB Carriacou and Petit Martinique New York chapter. Spring Fever Brunch.
My baby, come let me show you niceness.
indulge in a feast of seasonal delights that will awaken your senses and leave you craving more. It's Sunday, April 21st at 302 East 91st Street between Lennox and Clarkson. It's only $25 with a menu of escovitch fish, barbecue chicken, stewed pork, rice and peas, rolled rice, cuckoo, macaroni pie, and much more. For tickets and more information, contact Nisha at 347-683-1997, Jacinta at 917-615-4918, Wilson at 917-754-1319, or Tanti Marlin at 718-419-5039. Sunday, April 21st from 12 noon, the NNP Carrico and Pretty Martinique, New York chapter. Spring Fever Brunch.
Tell me why you